Another topic I'm curious to hear your thoughts on. It's fundraising. So you guys successfully fundraised more than $2 billion.
2.7
Two
billion.
point. There you go. Almost 3 billion. So I'm curious. So could you walk me through? So if you were to teach me about fundraising, what would you tell me? Like all about the specifics and everything else that surrounds that question. Because fundraising is such an important thing, and doing it well is something that you guys.
Well, let me share with you a philosophy that I adopted from someone that I met when they were the dean of the School of Business at the University of Michigan. And it was when I was the coordinator of something that we do in the Big Ten it's called the Big Ten Academic Alliance now. It was called something else back in the day when I was responsible for overseeing it at Minnesota. And this particular person actually did go on to become president of the system at one point. But his fundamental issue about fundraising is pretty basic.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, you got to ask. You don't ask, you don't get. I mean, that's pretty basic. But what he was saying in that simple message is you have to, first of all, have a compelling argument and a compelling value proposition of why someone would want to give X number of dollars to X cause. And so you have to develop a very compelling message and compelling strategy, and I think we were able to do that. When I came here, we were just starting what we call the quiet phase of our With Illinois fundraising goal. And then probably about 2 years or so into that process, we decided to launch in a very public way our desire to raise, at the time, $2.25 billion. And there were those that said there was no way that people would give that kind of money to this public university. And I'm very proud of the fact, and they said you definitely couldn't do that in 5 years. Well, we did it in 4. And in fact, by the end of the 5th year, we not only we went way beyond 2.25 to raise nearly $2.7 billion. And the reason for that is, and we did this during the midst of one of the most tragic global pandemics and health crises in our living history. And we did it because primarily I think we told a very compelling story of why the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign should be thought about in the context of being worthy of receiving a gift of their time and their talent. And we structured the campaign differently than we've ever had in the history of the University of Illinois as a system of 3 universities. And this time around, we made the decision each campus would put forth their own campaign goals and focus it on their own alums rather than some broad system-wide initiative where you're asking people across all 3 campuses to give to one goal. And I think that was, first of all, the best and most fundamental decision that allowed not only Urbana-Champaign to be successful in reaching their fundraising goals. University of Illinois Chicago reached his $800 million goal, and Springfield reached their, I think it was 400. I don't remember the exact, for 40 million. I don't remember the exact number for those other places, but each of the 3 campuses exceeded their goals because each of the campuses were able to structure the strategy that focused on the things that their alums were more passionate about. And for us, it was a very clear goal of focusing more money on the thing we've been talking about, keeping education accessible and affordable. We focus on more money for scholarships and fellowship for our students. And then the second part of the request is more money to hire the best and the brightest faculty and to support them in their research and scholarship and the work that they do to advance their reputation. And I think we decided to take a different approach. We had a big launch that was more like a big Las Vegas production than we've ever done before. And then we took a miniature version of that on the road to every major city where there's a large population of alums. We even took it to Shanghai. We took it to Korea. We took it all across the world in places where we have deep connection. And people really appreciated hearing about the university and the university telling its story in a much more compelling way than we ever had before, using digital technology, not just an opportunity for donors and alums to hear from me, but to hear from our current students, our current undergraduate students, to hear from our researchers that are doing amazing research in cancer, brain cancer, using dogs as a model system. And so we brought all of that together in one of the most compelling, high quality production, compelling production that only lasted on the road. It probably never lasted more than 25, 30 minutes. But it was 25, 30 minutes where we had that undivided attention. And each one was slightly different. Each one told a different narrative about the value proposition that this university brings to the table, and help develop a very strong sense and remind our alums of the type of place that they graduated from and how this place has really distinguished itself among other universities.
And that's something that we're both quite grateful to be part of the